Hello, marketers. We live in a noisy marketing environment in history. Wouldn't you agree? It's the noisiest. Every day you're hit with thousands of ads, social media posts, emails, and notifications. And if you're a marketer or a business owner, guess what? You're competing for attention against all of that. Let me add more to the bad news. You have 3 seconds to make an impact. The good news, though, is that I'm about to give you the tools to make those 3 seconds count. Stay with me. Let's go. The science of storytelling on this edition of the Marketing Nerds Podcast.
1 nerd, 2 nerds, 3 nerds, 4 marketing nerds do so much more. Over hill and highway, the nerd buggies go. Come along to bring you the Marketing Nerd Show. La 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 la.
Hey, my marketing friends. Welcome back to the Marketing Nerds Podcast, where we take the most powerful strategies out there and make them simple, actionable, and most importantly, effective. My name is Brian, and today we're talking about winning in a noisy market, because if your brand isn't grabbing attention, telling compelling stories, and proving itself visually, you're invisible. Attention is currency, and you have 3 seconds to earn it. So let's dive into the science of visual storytelling and the exact strategies. I have 5 of them that top brands use to break through all of this noise. I thought you should know it. Now, I took notes recently at a content marketing summit that was held virtually online. I wrote down a lot of notes, but in particular, this one presenter his name was Elliot Reuner. Now, Elliot is the creator of Storytelling Certified, an online storytelling course published in collaboration with the Product Marketing Alliance. And when he stepped up on the stage, the virtual stage, I paid attention because what he had to say was incredible. When somebody says science and storytelling, that gets my attention right away. And like I said, I wrote down some notes on how to stand out in a noisy market. And I have 5 tips that I pulled away from that talk. Now, you all know it. When you're going through Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, a swipe past a video takes seconds. So you're swiping, it takes seconds, not only for you, but for everyone else who is on those platforms. And yes, that's your audience. The average person consumes 32 gigabytes of information daily. TikTok's average watch time per video, 3.3 seconds. The average internet user has 18 tabs open at a time. That's not enough. Now, you're not fighting a lack of attention. You're fighting a lack of patience. And what's the fix? Simplicity. Marketing and simplicity are 2 words that go hand in hand. Ditch the small stuff. Get straight to the point. Make your content easy to digest. Grab attention visually. If they don't see value in a split second, they are gone. If what you have as content doesn't spark curiosity, your audience is scrolling away. So did you ever see a photo that instantly makes you feel something? Let's talk about photos. Did you ever see a photo that instantly made you feel something? Keyword feel. That's because humans process images 60,000 times faster than text. And why does this matter for marketing? Because visuals are instant. People can understand an image in 0.013 seconds. Images create emotion faster than words. And the best marketers know this. Images and design to tell stories are faster and better than using text. And not only that, images are a universal language. Emotion is a universal language, and you don't have to talk, write, or write to get the message across. Do you remember years ago that Nike ad? They ran it, and it simply said it was a runner gasping for breath, sweat pouring out of his head, totally exhausted. And the tagline was, "Running is awful. I love it." No long description, just visual and an emotion. So what Nike did was explain their message. They weren't just explaining their message, let's put it that way. They showed it. They let the image do the work. Now let's go back to Elliot for a second here. I pulled out some snippets out of his presentation, and he talks about show, don't tell.
Fortunately, I work with mainly B2B companies, helping them to tell their story. And I think a lot of them look a little bit more like this woman who has the perfect opportunity to show you how great her product is by putting the rumba on the floor and letting it clean, but instead is mopping the floor with a $1 mop. And for me, this is a great analogy for what most B2B companies do. They don't spend enough time just getting the product really into the customer's face and showing you what the value is, rather than making you download white papers, do 3 enterprise meetings before you can even understand why it's great. The lesson here is to show, don't tell. Really show under the hood. So the great thing here is challenge your designers or challenge yourself to understand, what could a 0 copy version of your content look like? Because that is the way you're going to be able to show your value really quickly and get it across. And if you're able to do this, to communicate logically, communicate emotionally, and communicate credibly, you're going to be able to create a visual that can resonate very quickly and be able to convert people a lot quicker and more effectively as well. Really, what I hope you've understood from this presentation is that there are very simple rules that you can follow that follow the science of storytelling.
And he goes into that. And that's where I wrote down a lot of notes. And this is why I'm bringing this to you in this podcast. So far, we talked about getting attention under 3 seconds with super cool images that capture attention and create emotion. And next, we're going to talk about basically what he talked about was contrast and emotion and how to make your brand unforgettable. We're wired to notice extremes. Before versus after images get 10 times more engagement than plain text. And negative emotions drive action more than positive ones. So let me give you an example of something like that. So this is a third tip: contrast and emotions. How to make your brands unforgettable is not to have nice marketing. Airbnb versus hotels. Hotels offer a bed. Airbnb offers an experience. Burger King's Moldy Whopper campaign. They showed their burger rotting over time to prove it's preservative free. And why it works is because it creates a reaction. It makes people feel something. And when people feel something, they remember you. And this is what Elliot has to say about it.
He says that storytelling basically can be summarized as a singular moment of realization, revelation, or transformation. And whether it's a novel, a Netflix series, a product campaign, or a piece of content, what you're trying to do is basically create this moment where the audience resonates and feels and thinks and behaves differently than they did before. In other words, what we're doing is basically creating contrast. And that's really if you're going to remember one thing from this first section, is communication and content is about communicating contrast. It's about communicating the contrast between your product and the alternative, communicating your brand versus the competition, or communicating what life is like with your feature or without a feature. And the better we get at being able to communicate that contrast, the more effective our visual storytelling is going to be. Once you realize this, you'll start to see it everywhere.
And I have seen it everywhere. Contrast creates a reaction and it makes people feel something. And when they feel something, they remember you. So using contrast in your messaging is tip number 3. Instead of just saying how great your product is, show the problem without it, make it painful, and make it real. All right, let's talk about AI, which is something that he brings up in his presentation as well. And let's be honest, we live in an era of custom everything. Netflix doesn't just recommend shows, it changes thumbnails based on what it knows you'll click. When I heard about this, I knew it was true because I'm over at a friend's house and they have different thumbnails on their Netflix dashboard than I do. They're older than me. I'm younger than them. Netflix changes thumbnails based on what it knows I click. And how brands are using AI for marketing, especially creatives for ads, changing images, personalizing those images is powerful. Subject lines and email messages get 50% higher open rates, and using different images for different users with those AI generated video thumbnails I was talking about. And why does this strategy matter? Because people don't want generic content. They want content that speaks directly to them. And when you're using AI tools to test multiple variations of content, the more personalized it is, the higher the engagement.
Hey, it's a ghost town out there. You're struggling to grow your business. Let us introduce you to marketingnerds.ai, the ultimate resource for smarter, faster marketing. Whether you want to learn at your own pace with our online courses or just hand it off and hire us, we've got you covered. We're experts in video production marketing, AI-powered strategies, and automation, all designed to help you scale your business without the headaches. We know marketing, we know video, and we definitely know AI. Head to marketingnerds.ai and let's turn your marketing into a growth machine.
Now, keep in mind, we are talking about standing out, your business standing out, whether you're a marketer or a retail business or a service provider. This is a noisy market. And how to capture attention and stand out is what we're talking today about on this podcast, the science of storytelling. And we are on our last tip. And I hope you're enjoying this podcast. Visit us at marketingnerds.ai. We have a whole bunch of really, really cool content on there that you can check out. And check us out at marketingnerds.ai. Now, the last element that Elliot talks about within his presentation, of course, he already talked about the show Don't Tell, why proof wins over promises. We're going to get more into detail about that because every brand out there is saying we're the best, but people don't believe words, they believe results. So how can you prove your value instead of just talking about it? Rolex, I'm going to give you some examples. Rolex doesn't say we make high quality watches. They show the history, craftsmanship, and reputation of their watches. People don't just believe words, they believe results. And when you see that with Rolex, that's a result. Uber Eats didn't start with their own audience. They leveraged Uber's existing user base for instant credibility. And Adidas, with Adidas Boost, didn't just claim more energy return. They dropped the ball on different shoe materials and showed how Boost performs better. So showing, not telling, really helps people trust what they can see. And this is really how to stand out in a crowded market. If you can show real-world proof, you eliminate debt and have all of those eyes on you. So start using visual animations, real-world comparisons to make your point without saying a word. All right, so let's bring it home. Let's land this plane. How do you win in a noisy market? You have 3 seconds to grab attention. Visual storytelling wins. Show, don't tell. Contrast and emotion make your message unforgettable. AI is changing the game. Make it more personal. And results beat promises. Take one of these strategies and use it this week. Then DM me at marketingnerds.ai and tell me what you tried. If you're ready to cut through the noise and make your brand impossible to ignore, there's your roadmap. And if this episode helped you, screenshot it, share it, put it on Instagram, tag me at marketingnerds.ai. And don't forget to subscribe because next week, we're diving into the biggest marketing mistakes brands make and how you can fix them. Until next time.
Be sure to visit us for more geeky fun at marketingnerds.ai.